I worked throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. I put my life at risk to save patients' lives. Yet I was treated terribly. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be talking about how I've been forced to leave the pharmacy profession due to ableism and racism. I'm changing my career and I'll be going back to Kingston University in September to study computer science. I graduated with a first-class Master of Pharmacy degree from Kingston University in 2021, and in Oriel, which is the National Pharmacy Recruitment Scheme, my rank was 127 out of 2,215 pharmacy students. Oriel is where pharmacy students are allocated training year places across different pharmacy sectors based on their rankings to complete their foundation training year after graduation. In October 2022, I was allocated a place at Guy's and St Thomas NHS Foundation Trust by Health Education England, London and South East Pharmacy for me to restart my training year in July this year. The process was a battle. I was going to restart my training year due to being subjected to discrimination, bullying, harassment, not being able to access disabled toilets on the hospital wards or sometimes elsewhere, and facing accessibility issues at the pharmacy dispensaries where I worked at, which are Croydon University Hospital Trust and West Middlesex University Hospital, Chelsea and Westminster Trust. I initially started my foundation training year in July 2021 at Croydon University Hospital Trust. Before I started my training year, I visited the hospital. I was told that reasonable adjustments that I needed would be made for me in time for when I started my training year. However, when I started my training, this wasn't the case. As a trainee pharmacist, I had to rotate between different wards in the hospital and also work in the pharmacy dispensary where I would dispense medications. In the pharmacy dispensary, I didn't have enough space to put my legs under the counter, and it was hard for me to get my legs on and off the footrest. My chair didn't go fully under the counter, so I had to stretch to use the computer to dispense, which was uncomfortable for me. Also, I had to put the prescriptions and medicine tray on top of the bin next to me. There was no staff-disabled toilet in the pharmacy dispensary, so I had to go outside the dispensary and down the corridor to use the toilet. There were other accessibility issues as well. When I started my ward rotations, I found out that there were no staff-disabled toilets on the wards. Most of the patient toilets only have one grab rail besides the toilet, and the toilet is at a standard height. There should be 2 grab rails besides the toilet, and I need 2 grab rails to use the toilet. Sometimes the grab rails were placed at a weird angle or they were shaky. There were also foot pedal bins in the toilets, and these bins are not appropriate for people with mobility issues and wheelchair users. Additionally, the emergency pull cord was often not in an appropriate place, or the length was too short. This means that if someone had an accident and fell down, they wouldn't be able to reach the emergency pull cord. There were other issues too with the toilets, including a lack of maintenance. I had to go outside the walls to use the public disabled toilets, and this took me up to 30 minutes one way. This was all very frustrating and stressful for me. I was scared not to have an accident or to wet myself. The public disabled toilets were not always accessible as well. This is shocking. I can use disabled toilets at public places, public attractions, and at many more places, but I can't use the toilets everywhere in the NHS. The NHS is supposed to be one of the most accessible places, but it's not. I raised these issues to staff in the pharmacy department and other staff at the hospital, but no adjustments were made for me. Instead, I was bullied and harassed in an attempt to silence me. I faced other accessibility issues too at the hospital. This all affected my well-being and mental health, so I was on sick leave. I contacted various pharmacy bodies, including Health Education England, London and South East Pharmacy, about all of this. Then I transferred to West Middlesex University Hospital, Chelsea and Westminster Trust in November 2021, and I restarted my training year again from week 1. I visited both of the hospitals before I started my training year, and they promised that they would make any adjustments that I needed. However, I faced the same issues that I did at the last hospital trust. This all affected my well-being and mental health, so I was on sick leave again. I contacted Health Education England, London and South East Pharmacy and other pharmacy bodies and organisations again, but no one helped me. I worked throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. I put my life at risk to save patients' lives, yet I was treated terribly. In January 2022, as a last resort, I posted on social media about the discrimination that I faced during my training year. Due to nothing working out, at one point I was on the verge of leaving the pharmacy profession to go back to university, which I emailed Health Education England, London and South East Pharmacy about. Then in March 2022, I received an email from the pharmacy dean at Health Education England, London and South East Pharmacy. She stated that Health Education England were offering to support me to restart my training year at another hospital in 2023, and there would be a support package in place for me. I was very happy and I accepted the offer. The pharmacy dean set up a team of individuals to help me with this process. The process started off well, but my joy was short-lived. Overall, the whole process was very stressful. At one point, I was unsure if the hospital place would be allocated to me, so I started looking into alternative careers and university degrees. This was very hard because I love pharmacy, and I worked so hard to get to this point. I decided to apply for a computer science degree because I have an interest in technology and computers as well. But the whole process was difficult because I had to learn about new subjects in a short space of time. Before I was allocated a place at Guy's and St Thomas Hospital Trust, I visited St Thomas's Hospital and Guy's Hospital last year alongside an assessor from the Centre for Accessible Environments and the lead pharmacist for education and training at Guy's and St Thomas Hospital Trust. I was told that the assessor from the Centre for Accessible Environments would write a report about the reasonable adjustments that I would require and the accessibility of Guy's and St Thomas hospitals too. During the visits, I found that both hospitals had the same accessibility issues that I faced at my former two hospital trusts. After I was allocated Guy's and St Thomas Hospital Trust in October last year, the lead pharmacist for education and training informed me that he had passed a report for the adjustments to the hospital's senior management team. I wanted to know what adjustments Guy's and St Thomas Hospital Trust would cover and what adjustments I would need to apply to Access to Work for, which is the government scheme. Eventually, 4 months later, I found out that I had been deceived and the report hadn't been sent to the hospital's senior management team. This was very disappointing, and it'll be too late for any adjustments to be put in place in time for me to start my training, yeah? A lot happened before that point, including a lack of support from the pharmacy dean at Health Education England London and South East Pharmacy and the solicitor from Health Education England's Policy and Regulation team that were among the people that promised to help me to restart my training, yeah? That's why I decided to leave the pharmacy profession. If you would like to know the full story, I posted about the story on my Twitter at osuyuki24 and my Instagram at osuyuki.i nearly 3 weeks ago. I can't talk about the whole story here because it's very long. Accessibility in all workplaces needs to improve and reasonable adjustments should be made for disabled workers. The NHS is not complying with Part M building regulations, basic guidance for disabled toilets and the Equality Act 2010. If you're disabled and you've been discriminated at your workplace before, let me know in the comments below. It hurts that I was denied the opportunity to qualify as a pharmacist after working so hard to get to this point. But I'm glad that I have the opportunity to go back to university in September to study computer science and I've secured an unconditional offer. Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you're new and hit the bell to get notified when I upload new videos. I'll see you next time. Bye!